This program is sponsored by Dave Stahl.
Power on. Power on.
It's time to take your place on the starting grid and get ready for Racer Radio. Your host, Dave Stahl, about to take you for a white-knuckled lap around the motorsports industry, covering everything from top-notch national drivers and crew chiefs right down to your local kid racers and racetracks. Watch for the apex, because here comes Racer Radio with Dave Stahl.
All right, folks, hey, welcome to Racer Radio, the only motorsports show in San Diego. I'm Dave.
I'm Brittany.
And this is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Well, Brittany, you've done it again. You brought in another Cajon Speedway legend.
I have.
Yeah, Mr. Ron Esau, who was just such a star out there. And I know I don't have to ask you, Ron, but I know you missed that track just about as much as anybody else, right?
Oh, definitely missed that Cajon Speedway.
Yeah.
And it was really sad. One time I had a friend of mine drive me up over it with a helicopter.
I know, you can still see it.
Still see the figure eight and the track.
I was flying in from a press event coming in from Arizona, and I'm like, oh, look, there's Cajon. There, it's still there. I was just crushed.
Yeah, the weeds are like a different color, but they were still there.
Isn't that weird? That's just like Cajon saying, I'm not gone. I'm not dead.
No, and it probably elicits a specific memory for any and everybody who sees that.
So how many years did you race out there?
I was off and on down up there. I started, I wasn't old enough to race there, so I started in 1971 up in L.A., and I ran a couple of seasons up there.
Right.
So then I got Rookie of the Year in 73, but I already had 2 seasons under my belt, so it wasn't really
But
like
you didn't
a rookie.
tell anybody.
No, we didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
And then in 78, I won the championship out there.
In what division? So people.
In the Elkhorn's, it was the Elkhorn Stock Car Racing Association.
That's
back
right.
then.
Oh, yeah.
And then I went off and ran some NASCAR stuff. I won the championship in 1986 for the first NASCAR Southwest Tour race. 70 or 83, I had got Rookie of the Year in the NASCAR Winston West and run with John Borneman and those guys.
Yeah.
And it just didn't have quite enough money to compete in that division. So I had a sponsor, McDonald's in Riverside, that had 4 franchises there, and he helped me race Riverside. When they closed that track down, I lost the sponsorship there too.
Was it Riverside? I never got to actually drive Riverside. I was a crew chief for a C Production sports car. I love that track, and I love to watch it on TV. I mean, if for a spectator track, that was a great track. But to have the honor to drive it, I mean, has to be huge.
Yeah, I actually won the last NASCAR Saturday's race at Riverside.
Really?
Rusty Wallace won the big boy race.
Yeah.
But I actually got to race with the big boys several times at Riverside, and I got a chance to go down to Australia in 1990.
Oh, did you?
88, 89, and 93 times. I got to go down there. And it was funny, in Facebook now, like Mike Hagerman, I used to race with him all the time out there at Cajon, and he goes, man, I didn't realize you ran so many places, because I was posting different stuff on there. And
well, we didn't have social
Now
media
you
back
can.
in the day. Nobody, and everything had to either be word of mouth. Bill Centers, if he would write about racing, it was kind of rare. And I have to tell you, I was on KUSI the other day, and Hacksaw Hamilton was talking about Jimmy Johnson, his last season, and kept talking and kept talking and kept talking. And all of a sudden, he goes on to something else. I went, what about Sheldon Creed? I mean, Sheldon Creed just won the 2020 Gander Truck Series out of Alpine, for goodness sake. So, yeah, so San Diego never really was one to, I mean, even Jimmy Johnson, he didn't get a lot of attention right here in town. But the history that you've got, you're going to say no, but I'm going to talk to your wife. But I'm going to bring you in again for a whole hour. So that we, because to get all of this down on tape is priceless, because you're not going to write a book.
No.
See, told you, unless you dictate to Brittany. Yeah, right. Little Miss School Teacher over here. But and it's fun to talk about days gone by. I'd love to do an hour show, another one with Borneman and you. I would like to have gotten Overman in, but unfortunately, he passed away. And some of the other key drivers, from back in the day. I think I did a show one time. I think you were on it where I got who was the wild guy that was always kind of a hothead.
You mean besides Borneman?
Yeah, besides Borneman. What was his name? Hopefully, if I go to break, I'll remember. He was. I want to say he was like Italian. Tamborelli.
It came to you.
Is that not another, and everybody says, you're not putting all those guys together, are you? I go, yeah, I was just doing a radio show. Go. Turned out to be really good. I think you were on that show, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Also, I'm kind of humble about the racing, but I was back walking through the Richard Childress Museum, and this gal recognized me. She used to be on the crew when I was back there running some stuff for Buddy Arrington, and she goes, "Man, I used to root for you." And you know what? I know Chocolate Myers likes you a lot. He's doing a radio show right now, and he says, just a minute. And then he grabbed me and says, well, in 20 minutes, you're going to be on the radio show.
You're a kid with chocolate?
Yeah. And I said, oh, really? And I go, I'm here with Dave Reed. And Dave Reed, has won a couple championships on the Southwest Tour with Craig Rodman. And and we're just kind of down here hanging out. And he goes, oh, well, bring him on too. So we were there and we talked and Chocolate brought up stuff that I completely forgot about. And we just had a great time back there talking about my NASCAR days back there. And a lot of people here didn't even know about it.
No, well, now there is another good reason why I need to bring you back it's kind of like, I like watching his show and I like to watch Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s show because you get the true history of motorsports. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't remember what you guys had to do, especially, and I'll use Cajon Speedway as a perfect example. It was your typical grassroots, down to earth with an announcer, with Tom McGrath, that knew you, your family, how much money you owed the bank. I mean, the guy knew everything about his people. And I would periodically get honored to sit in for him, which was mind-boggling and just in that in itself. But, so you had some, the Ed Hales of the world. I mean, talk about legends.
Oh, yeah, I got some stories about Ed, too.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I have to tell you this one story because you're going to love this. So Steve Brucker comes up to me and he goes, hey, Dave. I go, yeah. I need you to, I want to bring you on the team. He said, I'd like to hire you. I says, oh, okay. Well, I says, I'm not taking Tom McGrath's place. Are you kidding? I can barely remember my own name, let alone the driver's. He goes, no. I want you to be the head steward and take Charlie's place. Charlie? No. I'll never make it off the property. I'll be buried in a hole somewhere. For folks that don't know, Charlie was he was hard as nails. He was right down. Even when we were doing the Burn Institute, he was the rules. So I said, no, I'm not. I don't know if you heard that story, but I said, no, I am not taking that job. Would you take that job?
No.
Yeah. He did it even quicker than I did it. But yeah, so, hey, we got Dirt Dude on the line. Well, you've been out to Verona, right?
That's where we met.
Yeah, that's where.
Okay, so we're going to steal the Verona segment. I think Paul Dyke could be okay with that since he sponsors the Verona Speedway segment right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
I can hear your voice saying, won't you ever learn? Turn it
All right, folks, welcome back to Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, Dirt Dude must be on drawer 37 of his toolbox. He's been, for the last year and a half, he's been organizing his sockets and his open-end wrenches. I don't know if he's ever going to use them, but since he is the announcer at
Verona
Speedway. So we've got a very, very special guest in the house. We got Mr. Ron Esau in the house. We've got his lovely wife, but
Yes.
she's not going to talk.
She's not going anywhere near the microphone.
No, she ripped it out of the stanchion, so we'll have to get engineering in here for the next show, but that's another story. So, Ron, so now you've, Cajon, but now you kind of dabbled up into Verona. What are you doing up at Verona Speedway?
Well, there's a Cajon Johnson that runs up there, and so I'm kind of like a fan of his. He got a go-kart, and he runs up at Campo, and so I've been over there just like watching him run over there at Verona, and then at Camp Lockett, the dad is so busy working on all the kids' karts, he never gets to run his kart because it always seems to not be warmed up, not ready.
Right.
So I told him the last few races that I'm going to make sure your kart's ready to go so you can have.
That's very, very nice. of
Yeah.
Have Caden run.
Has he gotten it as the dad got into his cart yet?
Yeah, he's got into his car, and he actually did pretty good when it didn't fall apart because he actually had somebody like me work on it.
Well, that's because and that's something a lot of other people don't realize is that you also set cars up.
Yeah.
And you've been doing that for a really long time. And didn't you set your own cars up back in the day?
Back in the day, we had to do all our own work, and I think like Davey Allison's a lot better driver than Kyle Petty was because David worked his way up in racing.
We were talking about that off air.
Well, let's face it. I mean, and look at the Earnhardt train.
Right.
You know, senior, which I have a shrine if you ever want to come over and see it. And
oh my gosh!
He doesn't want to talk about the uniform.
Bring this on?
We're not going to talk about the uniform.
Listeners, by the way, Dave told me on the side a story, and Ron told me on the side a similar story.
Yeah. And
Yes.
it's in my front room, hanging on the wall in a plastic box.
They bid
Wow,
on the
did you
same
pay more
thing,
for it than you
listeners.
wanted?
I paid a whole lot more. But you know what? In your defense, and this guy with his greasy little pin, every time I'd put something down, he'd bump it.
It was a fundraiser.
But it was for a good cause. It was for Jim, what was his last name?
Watkins,
who's passed away from ALS, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But, that was an experience all on its own. I don't golf. Jim's dad and I were out on a golf course. I said, why are we on this cement? Let's go over here on this grass where it's cut real, real short. So we're driving across the fairway. Balls.
David.
Yeah. But anyway, I love that story. It was a great, great story. But so Earnhardt, okay, so Junior, he was okay. It was never a great, and then nobody else after that. Davey, unbelievable.
Oh, he started out dirt tracks like Verona, and he started out learning how to drive and learn how to work on the cars.
Right. And Junior never did that.
No.
I don't think Junior ever got his fingernails dirty.
And Kyle either.
Or Kyle either, as far as that goes. Kyle was happier on a motorcycle. So you're out at Verona now, and we're trying to talk them. Wouldn't it be nice if they threw some of the carts out there?
Well, they tried to run the carts out there, but the dirt clods are a little too big for us and knock off the sprockets and stuff. It's kind of bumpy, but maybe we can talk them into smoothing out a little bit and get up there.
So Lockett is a dirt track, 8th mile oval, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the same kart track back in the day that had those big boulders all the way around it. That was in Campo. Is it the same track?
No, well, this is they.
You know about the one I'm talking about?
No, I don't know about that one. I don't think it's that one. It's next to the Pedestrian Center. They've been doing some work on the border wall. The people there have put in a bathroom. It's actually, we run with the TT motorcycle group.
Oh, okay.
To run under their insurance. And I think next week you might be bringing in a friend of mine, Josh Huff, JH Motorsports, and he's been trying to work with Verona, and he's worked with Paris Speedway to
get a series.
Get a little, well, we have to call it an event because of COVID, but
an event.
Yeah. A peaceful protest is what they call it.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely want to get you guys on KUSI TV, because if you want to get more people not only to attend but to invest in the project, because people don't realize racing is not cheap. And I'm not just talking about the race cars. I'm talking about the facility and the permits that you have to have, and the medical staff you have to have, and gosh, that'll give Tom something else to do on a on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. I run into him because he lives in Alpine at restaurants all the time, and he is such a crack up. I love him. I think he sold that old fire rescue truck. I think I seen on Facebook that Chevy.
Oh yeah.
I think he sold it to somebody. It was because I seen it on a flatbed going away.
Oh.
Boy, that was an experience. You ever ride on that thing with him?
No.
Those people are crazy. And that driver he had, I got his name. I can't remember his name. He'd take off before the wreck. And he would never tell anybody, but they all knew except me. So that's
Yeah.
You got to hang on, huh?
Holy moly.
Well, the reason we met out at Barona was because of the fire crew. They were recognizing Tom Henkel, and they brought out some big wigs, some legends that had
and
crossed
Tom
paths.
is so humble.
Yes, and Ron was one of those that was invited to be a part of that celebration. So that kind of put into perspective where you sit as far as one of the local legends.
It took him a long time to get me here because Dale Durbin's son was racing at Speed Ventures in Las Vegas. For the first time they ran go-karts there.
Yeah.
I was gone. Oh no, I'm gone to Paris. Oh no, I'm gone.
Every time I
gone to
throw out a
Barona. I'm
date.
gone here. And
Well,
so
he was
they
at a
finally,
This is the only thing good that came out of COVID is that you don't get to go racing and we get to have you come in here and have some fun with us on radio. So that's cool. Have you seen this one drive yet?
No, I haven't.
You got to check this girl out. Just don't go near the
here
car.
we go
Just
again.
don't go near the car when she's in there because she'll yell at
She
you.
puts a game face on.
Dude,
I do
it's
find a
hardcore.
game face, yes.
Yeah, and
Got
we've
to.
decided next year she's not going to run when the moon is up. Right?
Ron, just tell him to move on.
This is so good. Come on, tell
We'll
the story.
talk about this uniform. How much you pay for that?
Yeah,
thing?
right?
Yeah, right. No, go ahead.
How much did you overbid?
Tell
He
about
wants
the
me
moon
to talk
story.
once again about the one lap of one race that I ever might have looked up at a beautiful moon coming out of turn 2 before going into turn 3. And I was dumb enough to mention it to my crew chief, and he's still holding it against me. You need to stay focused.
Oh, well, I ran the first race at Fontana Speedway, and it was a Winston West race. It was the day before the Cup guys ran, and I was so amazed on all these palm trees and motorhomes on the back straightaway. I was saying, man, you should see all the beautiful palm
Thank
trees.
you,
and everything.
Ron.
And my guy that owns the car goes, well, how's the car? I go, oh, this car was an old Darrell Waltrip car. It drives itself. It's fine, but you got to see all the beautiful stuff on the back straightaway.
Oh, thank
But
you for that.
I didn't crash.
Yeah.
I
Well, she didn't crash.
either.
No, she didn't
No,
crash.
I just noted the beautiful moon and was dumb enough to mention it to
And
my crew
they
chief. And I don't think he spoke to me for a couple weeks and
Oh, okay.
still holds it against me.
I can't be a crew chief like that. Come on, what's up with that? That's not going to work. Yeah, but no, it's there was some great story. Remember when the Bruckers decided to do their first boat race, and they had them out there, and they're dragging these boats around, and didn't realize that they impacted the track with fiberglass. And then the next weekend when they raced, first 2 cars went into turn 1, ended up in the fence because they just hit that fiberglass. It was packed into the asphalt. I think that was one of the very few races we had like that. But yeah, we've had some crazy times out there. So you're mainly into go-karting? Is that what you
Yeah,
I mean?
a lot of go-kart talk.
Yeah,
It's just cheaper. It's just
Yeah.
cheaper than a full-blown car.
Well, it seems to be a full turnaround. My dad and my brother started racing go-karts
When you were a kid?
When I was younger, and back then they used to like jump in and just push start them. They didn't have electric starts and stuff like we do
Right.
now. And just when I got old enough to race the go-karts, they started racing stock cars. So I was always into it. Dan Gurney was my hero, road racing.
Yeah,
and I
mine too.
followed him, and I joined the Dan Gurney Eagle fan club and all this stuff.
Guess what I just bought the other day?
Oh, no.
And I might sell it to you for a really
There's a room in
good
there.
Maybe we
price.
should make it a fundraiser deal.
Dan Gurney for president bumper sticker.
There you
Remember
go.
those?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have one?
No.
I got one. It is
Starting bid
right
is
on
$100.
the wall, right in front of me. I look at that every day. Ooh, now I got a weak spot. Yeah, it would have to be a charity event because that's what you did to me. so we're talking McCullough. 101s, 91s.
West Bends, McCullough.
Yeah,
That's
West Bends.
And I never got a chance to run them, but Then after I was racing at Cajon Speedway for a year, there was I don't even remember the guy's name, but his son was racing and I was his hero. And so he let me come out and run the four cycle class at up in Hamul. And
That's the track I was thinking of.
I guess I go and tell people now, but there was a girl named Helen Tips. I think she beat me, but I ended up second.
You can talk about it now.
I can talk about it now.
Yeah.
But it's just now, it's just like affordability. I sold my car, getting ready to retire here pretty soon. And so go-karts are just
easy to maintain.
Yeah, easy to maintain.
Easy to transport.
I was out of Cajon Speedway. Buddy of mine was going out with a sportsman car, and he was getting ready to go out and do some hot laps. And he had the diff part, he had the wheels off, he's doing all this stuff. And I says, well, I got to get ready for my heat. And he goes, oh, what are you doing? I said, I race karts. He says, well, what are you going to do now? I said, I got to go get it ready. I got to put air in the tires. I got to put some oil in the clutch. What else I got to do? Oh, yeah, I got to make sure the air's staggered. I said, so that's it. So I'll see. Yeah, and he's got the whole car apart, and he has to put it all back together. But no, if you love that need for speed and you like to drive, karting is by far the way to go. I'm a road course guy. That's my favorite. Did you ever run at Imago?
Yes. Loved it.
I love that.
You can tell by
track.
the grin.
Oh, it's because it's very technical. That could be another show just in itself.
Well, JH Motorsports is supposed to be here next week, Josh.
I
Huff.
can't wait. Two go-kart
And
guys in a row. You're killing me.
So his main focus is running guys at Fontana in the parking lot. They call it Auto Club.
Yeah.
There's a track called Apex,
Right.
Next door to Paris,
Right.
and then there's Adams Racetrack, which has been around a long time.
And I have been
Riverside.
trying to get those people to either call in, and it's like pulling teeth.
I'll work on that for you.
That's the only racetrack that put their kids through college via cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
Am I right?
And what was real interesting this weekend, I seen where on a Facebook post, which we wouldn't have caught that on years ago, that John Borneman's, I guess it must be his granddaughter, finished fifth in a race, and the guys from Adams had Haley Deegan on the line talking to her, FaceTiming with her
Goosebumps.
as one of the prizes for getting in the top five. So it's really interesting.
Yeah, because we've had Deegan on the show, and that is so cool. So, and that's the other one I want to get into here is Borneman.
Oh, we can work on that.
That'll be a hoot. All right, we're going to take a quick break right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. This is Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170. And did you pick that song?
Me? No.
Yeah, a little bubbly over there.
Brendan did.
I love this song.
I know
it's a
you
good
do. I just see that. I knew it. Ron, you ever been in a lightning sprint?
No, I don't know if I want to, because same thing. I might end up owning one.
Yeah, see, it's not that it scares him. It's just that, and the wife's over there. There's
just
no
look, she smiled.
more room. There's no more room.
Give up two.
But they don't take up a lot of place. You just take the wing off, right, and put that up in the attic.
Yeah, pretty much. You just stack them up like you do everything else in your garage. You
That's so funny.
just find room.
Yeah, that's so funny. But again, it's
They
like
are an absolute blast.
But it's like karting. It's a ton of fun. He's and the reason he's saying that because how many karts you have now?
3.
Well, yeah. I mean, there might be a couple others in the garage.
Oh, 3 that we know about?
That belong to other people. I know. Yeah, I know. I had to Caden this morning. He had a Tony kart. That's his kart.
Uh-huh.
And I recognized it just from the color, and I says, oh, wow, you got a Tony kart. He says, well, yeah, it's written right there.
Oh, jeez.
I go, he's 7 years old. He's 7 years old, busting my chops.
You can go buy 2 brand new 80cc shifters, one brand new 80cc shifter, and you can buy 2 used Lightning Sprints and go out and for the same money.
Wow.
Why is that? How is that? Why has that car become so affordable? Usually it's the other way around.
It's just, the cool thing about it is that most of the off-shelf products, we've gotten to a point now to where basically these things are midgets with motorcycle engines in them.
Yeah.
And the affordability of the car is the fact that it just doesn't wear things out. You know, the things, even though they're pulling, 850, 900 pounds more than what they're designed for, we just don't beat the cars up. You know, with the wings, you're constantly under a load, so you're not loading and unloading things and wearing them out faster. And they just become a very affordable class. And tires, you don't have to go buy brand new tires every race.
Right.
You can run the same right rear 2 or 3 races if the tracks aren't totally dried out.
Right.
It just keeps the expense down. But they've really become a very competitive class. I mean, it's just pretty amazing how many former sprint car drivers and midget drivers we have racing with us now.
We'll definitely keep people abreast as to what's going. And, at any time, like I say, you can go through Scott, or you can, once you give me my email, I'll give you your own segment, because we got another 15-minute segment that we just kind of leave open for guys like Ron Esau, who won't stop talking. So, we had to,
I tell you, I could spend the rest of this time talking about Ron and talking to Ron. I mean, geez. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching him in the Sportsman cars and Saugus. And as a matter of fact, there is one story I want to tell you.
Sure.
We're down at El Cajon one night. It was and it was raining early in the day. And I remember it was either practice or qualifying. Ron and somebody else got together, and I can't remember who it was, got together, and they damaged the cars pretty bad. So Ron ended up having to start toward the back of the main event. And I think I was probably, I don't even want to tell you how old I was, but I think I had 2 quarters in my pocket. And I made a bet with a guy down sitting in turn 1. And I told him, I said, I'll bet you a quarter that Ron Esau will end up in the top 5 by the time this is over. And the guy looks at me and he goes, he's starting second to last. And I'm like, all right, 50 cents then. And he says, all right, fine, you're on. Well, next thing I know, half of turn 1 got involved in the bet. Well, you finished 5th on the last lap as the checkered fell, and I won $22.
Oh.
Whoa.
Never forget that I won $22 off Ron Esau.
And you notice, Ron, he didn't run down into the pits to give you your cut?
Yeah.
Well, no, I wanted to buy a hat, but he didn't have any more.
Oh.
Oh, that's what. You still got your old hats now?
Oh, no.
You got rid of all that?
Yeah.
See, that's another thing you should have never done, is got rid of all your stuff.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, I know. But don't we all do that?
Rod Means, I used to drive for Rod Means at El Cap Oil and turned into Trick Enterprise. And they had a deal one time where I'm riding with Ron Esau. So I had some of those bumper stickers left, and I threw them all away. And then everyone started asking me, why didn't you have them? I'm like, I threw all that stuff away.
You could have sold all that stuff. Ron's a big Dan Gurney fan, and I told him I just bought a bumper sticker back in the day that used to be Dan Gurney for president. I don't know how old you are, but
Nope. I actually have one of those stuck on one of my toolboxes.
See, now there's 2 of us. Yeah, but see, mine I can sell to Ron. Yours, it's stuck on a toolbox. When we only
but the caveat to that is that Dan gave me that one himself.
Well, I was going to go meet Dan Gurney for the first time, and I was helping a guy out at Alpine, and they're racing out here at Del Mar, one of the road races deal here, and Willie T. Ribbs was driving for Dan Gurney, and the 2 of those crashed, and the guy wanted to go fight over there, Dan Gurney, so I stayed completely away because I didn't want to get embarrassed, and I never really got a chance to meet Dan. So that was going to be a real good opportunity, and I was wearing the wrong uniform.
Yeah, that uniform thing can get you into trouble. All right, buddy. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you down the road. Say goodbye, Ron.
Thank you very much. You guys take care.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Why? Because we have to pay our bills. Racer Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.